6 FM in Peter Maritzburg. We go once again to Facebook Live, to YouTube Live as well, so you can see what's going on in the studio and you can be part of this conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this conversation. Send it through on WhatsApp. It's 060-904-1056. You see the numbers coming up down there on your screen right now. So you got the call-in number and the WhatsApp number as well. We're speaking with our attorney, that's Brother Mohamed Altaaf Raoof, no stranger to the program. Last week, we began this journey into the world of criminal law. We spoke about what you should do when you get arrested. Today, we're taking it a few steps further and exploring what happens when you appear in court. So we'll be talking about the various types of appearances and what you can expect. Altaaf, assalamu alaikum. Welcome once again.
Assalamu alaikum to our listeners.
How are you doing this morning?
Alhamdulillah.
Good. So, Altaaf, what happens when you go to court?
Okay, so the first time that you go to court is called your first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of a logical naming for it.
Yeah.
Now, when this happens, you either in custody
Mm-hmm.
or alternatively, you've been released on bail or a warning. Now, the first thing that happens is that morning, the docket is brought to court by the police, and the docket goes to something called the prosecutor pool.
Mm-hmm.
In the prosecutor pool, the prosecutors read the docket, and they make a determination whether the matter should be placed on the roll for hearing or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if you've ever been arrested or issued a summons or anything, they tell you be there at 8:30.
Right.
The reality is, for a first appearance, if you're there by about 10 o'clock or so, it's fine, because your first appearances only get dealt with from about 10:30, 11 o'clock onwards.
All right.
Now, I said the prosecutor reads the docket. One of two things happen. They either read the docket and say, okay, fine, there is a case over here, we're placing this matter on the roll for hearing,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll allocate you a court. Alternatively, they'll choose not to place the matter on the roll. Now, if the matter is not placed on the roll, it doesn't mean the matter is gone forever. It may simply be that the prosecutor has directed further investigation,
Mm-hmm.
and the docket will come back and you may be summoned to come back to court. Now, if the matter is placed on the roll for hearing, you will appear in court on that day, and the matter will likely be adjourned for further investigation.
Define further investigation for us.
Okay, so further investigation essentially means that you've got a prosecutor who's looked at the docket, they've read the content of the docket, they've read the proposed charge, and there's certain things that still need to be added to the docket.
Right.
These things are missing for whatever reason. So the prosecutor writes certain instructions to SAPS in the docket to do certain things, obtain certain information, and essentially make this docket trial ready. Your case then gets postponed to some later date,
Mm-hmm.
upon which you must appear again in order for the various investigations that need to happen.
So how many times should your case be postponed?
So this is an interesting question, because it's not really a case of how many postponements should be allowed.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a case of for how long should your matter carry on.
Oh.
Because once a case is on the roll for a period of 6 months, the case becomes flagged as a red dot matter. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, when I have an adjournment for further investigation, I take a long adjournment. I take an adjournment of 2 to 3 months, because I intentionally don't want to bring the client back to court every 2 to 3 weeks when we know there's going to be no outcome. It's unnecessary incurring legal expenses. The client ends up paying for nothing.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a 2 to 3 month adjournment, which is longer, which gives the police and the NPA the necessary time to sort out whatever the issue is. And then when we come back, are you ready to proceed or not?
Yes.
Now, if a matter becomes a red dot matter, it basically means that the matter is taking too long to finalize.
Yeah.
And theoretically, what you can do once you hit that 6 months and it's a red dot matter,
Mm-hmm.
you can ask for the matter to be struck from the roll on the basis that the matter is simply taking too long. Now, Now, if the matter is struck from the roll, it doesn't mean that the matter is completely gone. The state can still go, the state can do the necessary investigations, finalize the docket, which now they're under no pressure to do, so they can take their time and do
Time
it.
about it, yes.
I've heard 3 years down the line, you're now getting a summons on a matter that you even forgot you had because it got struck from the roll or it got withdrawn or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now they've finalized the docket. Hey, come here.
back.
We've got a summons for you.
Yeah.
You got a matter to answer for.
What sort of investigations take, that long time?
Now, there are certain types of investigations that take very, very long. Specifically, anything regarding forensics. Now, forensics involves things like drugs, drunken driving, ballistics on firearms, DNA. Just to give you some sort of an indication, DNA generally, if not fast-tracked, DNA takes about a year and a half to 2 years to come back. Drugs is taking about 10 to 12 months to come back. Drunken driving is taking anything from 3 to 12 months to come back.
When you say come back, it's coming back from a lab.
Coming back from the laboratory.
Right.
Firearm ballistics, I've heard of cases of going on 2-3 years. The ballistics still haven't come back on those firearms. So these forensics really take long. And really, the matter is going to be withdrawn or struck from the roll, and then you're going to just get it from there. When it comes back, they decide what they want to do with
it at that point. So let's assume everything's taken place. What happens when all investigations are complete?
Okay, so you've reached a stage where the matter is trial ready. Now, a copy of the docket is given to the defense, and the defense at this point can do something called making representations. Representations is essentially a list of reasons as to why the prosecution should not proceed. Alternatively, a list of reasons why the prosecution will fail if it does proceed. The matter gets set down for pre-trial. The pre-trial issues are sorted out. Pre-trial is essentially sort of how many witnesses you're going to have. Do you have any technical experts? How many days you think this is going to take? Things of that nature. And the matter then gets set down for trial, and the trial runs.
How do you prove that you are now innocent at this trial?
So this is the interesting thing about criminal law. As the accused in a matter, you don't need to prove that you are innocent. In a criminal matter, the onus is on the state to prove that you are guilty. And the standard of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. So in civil matters, your standard of proof is on a balance of probabilities. So 50% plus 1, the scale has tilted in your favor. That's sufficient for a civil matter. Criminal matter, beyond reasonable doubt, I'm going to say your pass mark in that day is 75, 80%, if not higher. In order for the state to prove that you are guilty.
Guilty as charged.
No matter that. Now, this is the very interesting thing. Now, the state presents its case first. Now, at the end of the state's case, if you feel that the state has not proven your guilt, and I've done this previously, you are fully entitled to apply for something called a Section 174 discharge.
Right.
Basically, you say to the court that, listen, the state hasn't proved my guilt for this, and this reasons, and I don't even need to present a case in my defense. And if it's granted, you don't need to present a case. The state has simply failed, and I've done it successfully.
Fantastic. Now, what happens if you're found guilty?
Now, if you are found guilty, it depends on your offense. You go into sentencing proceedings where you could theoretically request for a social worker's report and a pre-sentencing report and things of that nature. Now, there are various different options with regards to the different sentences that could be handed down. You have options like a fine, you have custodial sentences where you actually go to prison. You have correctional supervision. Now, correctional supervision, you don't actually go to prison. However, you know the term house arrest?
Yeah.
So essentially, you are on house arrest. You stay in your house. I've also heard of certain types of correctional supervision where the person is allowed to go to work.
Right.
So you're allowed to leave your house between a certain time. You must be back by a certain time. You're only allowed to go to work, shops, things of that nature. You're not allowed to go to, for example, a casino or an entertainment place or something of that nature. You're not allowed to go out on weekends. You're not allowed to attend family functions. They put that tracking thing on you.
Okay.
And they can see where you are at any time.
Yeah.
That's correctional supervision. I mean, it's intended, I think everybody knows our prisons are overcrowded. So you're less violent, you're non-violent offenders, white-collar crime, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get something along the lines of correctional supervision. You also have something called a suspended sentence. Suspended sentence means that, okay, we're giving you a suspended sentence, meaning you don't need to serve jail time or you don't need to pay a fine. Just don't commit a similar offense within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If you do commit a similar offense, your previous sentence kicks in.
Kicks in as well, yeah.
Now, also, if you disagree with your conviction for whatever reason, you do have the ability to take it on appeal.
Now, what do you do rather if you believe you were falsely arrested or maliciously prosecuted?
So you are entitled to sue the state. And there are some attorneys whose entire practice is based purely on suing the state. That's how lucrative this is.
Okay.
If you're suing the state on the basis of a false or improper arrest, you would sue the Minister of Police. If you're suing for malicious prosecution, you'd sue the National Prosecuting Authority. Highly, highly lucrative. I know, for example, if you prove that you were falsely arrested and you had spent one night in custody, or wrongly arrested rather, and spent one night in custody, you're getting anything from 20 to 40,000 rand, depending on circumstances, per night spent in custody.
And how much of the money goes to the lawyer?
Well, it depends now whether you've signed a contingency agreement or whether you're paying upfront.
Okay.
So normally matches like this are done on a 25% contingency.
So you get taxed no matter what, man. Yeah, it's a reality.
Two things in life are certain: death and taxes.
Death and taxes. There you go. So that's it for that conversation for this morning. I know we're going to take it further in the coming weeks into all of that. Before we shut down the show for today, and before we say bye-bye to you, come September, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is to let people know that the Breakfast Rush, together with Raoof and Associates, started something a couple of years ago. As you know, this show leads and others follow. So a couple of years ago, we led the way into bringing in various different legal firms, various different attorneys here to Al Ansar, leading the way, putting people with the necessary knowledge on the other side of a table, opening the doors and saying, you are welcome to come in for free. Bring the necessary paperwork, bring the required questions, come in for free, have a seat with a suitably qualified professional and get the answers to your questions, get the assistance that you require, get the direction that you need, get the will that you want drawn up by somebody who is suitably qualified. This program led the way, to which others follow in various aspects. But let's talk about this one here. Come September.
Okay, so very quickly, come September, for the third year in a row, TBR will be hosting this Wills Week.
Yeah.
The objective of Wills Week is that if you do not have a will, or if you need your will updated, you can make a booking. We do it on a Saturday. We spend probably the whole day over here, depending on the number of bookings that we receive. Yeah. You come in, you sit down with an attorney, you spend probably 20 minutes to half an hour with an attorney.
Yeah. For free.
For free, completely for free. Yeah. And you draft your free basic will. So no strings attached. You come in, you draft your free basic will, and done and dusted.
So the planning for that one has already begun.
Yeah. Always a couple of months in advance.
Absolutely. So just to let you, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is just to let you know that no, we've not stopped. We haven't cancelled anything. We will still continue with what we do for you, the listener of Radio Al Ansar, the listener of the Breakfast Rush. Come September, and I know there was talk at some point where we were saying, should we open it up to general legal advice as well? Those discussions are still carrying
Yes,
on.
those are still internal discussions going
Yeah.
on. I think it's been a while since we've had one of our legal clinics. So very likely we are going to have a situation where you can either come in for a general consult, alternatively you can come in for a will.
That information will be made available.
Once the decision is made, information will be made available to the listeners.
Absolutely. Altaaf, as always, if somebody has a question for you, they want to get a hold of you. Hey, listen, I'm locked up. I need bail. How do they get a hold of you?
You can drop me an email.
Yeah,
it's
email
altaaf@raooflaw.co.za. Give it to you again, altaaf@raooflaw.co.za. Might take a day or two, but I will respond to you. Please don't email me if you need bail.
No, don't. If it takes a day or two and you're emailing him for bail, it's a bad idea, terrible idea. Talking about that, I was watching social media, right? Just flipping through, this is not completely off topic, but flipping through social media, and Brother Pandey posted a picture of, I think it was a Durban North Courthouse or police station.
Durban police station.
The police station. And he captioned it, "We work on the weekends." And I'm thinking, what a cool advert for for what he's doing. So the assumption there is that what if the clients had an issue and was at the police station over the weekend and Brother Pandey was available at the time?
The reality is we have to be available 24/7, 365. I mean, I've gone out to the police station at 2, 3 in the morning and got bail on occasion.
Wow.
Gosh.
You know,
and they didn't find you at like a restaurant or something like that. They found you lying in bed under the covers asleep.
Yeah, my phone rings. I answer the phone.
Yeah.
Listen, this is my name. We need bail. Okay, which police station you at? This is my costing.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Okay, fine. I'm coming out.
Right. It's possible, folks. He's given you his email address. Use it. Maybe on an email you can post there like a question, like what's your phone number? And he'll give it to you at that point in time. Altaaf, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure as always. Assalamu alaikum.
That's it for the program as well. I've got Hafiz Tahir Qadri lined up. This kalam was supposed to play much earlier in the show, and I deliberately didn't play it earlier. I kept it for now to end the show with Hafiz Tahir Qadri. It's going to be a beautiful recording.
Be the best version of you.
Do good. Be good. Have an amazing day.
The Breakfast Rush, brought to you courtesy of the Willow Tin Group, at the forefront of innovation, and one of the